Well
Why
done.
be real?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who cares? Reality? What's that? Why bother? This week on the podcast, AppLovin, Your Kids' Data, the shitty world of marketing data and analytics, the US AI action plan and China's response. Elon Musk wants to build Baby-Grok. OpenAI strolls into the UK government with its handout. From WeWork to WeDon'tWork, Masayoshi Son's wild AI claims. Microsoft gets into the AI talent wars. Earnings season, who's turning AI into ROI? What skills matter for the future of work? And defending the indefensible, this time AI Influencer Edition.
But
It
you
looks
know,
like it looks like I just caught you updating your resume. Like you were pausing there. It looked like you were, you
no,
were
I
writing
do,
some
I do
notes.
apologise. We've got really high winds here, so if there's interruption, yeah, that's it. Where's my limo? You know, when they gonna send? You know, when am I gonna get on the jet?
Oh,
And,
limos. Those are so
oh,
yesterday. They're sending Bentleys for people now.
oh, gorgeous. Yeah.
Support the podcast and your career. Check out my courses on datascience.vin and take 10% off with the promo code podcast. We survived. We survived to 5 and we haven't been canceled yet, which is, it's important. We might even have a new sponsor coming on board soon. We can't talk about that yet, but we might have
Someone dares to do
sponsor.
it.
Yeah. Someone watched this podcast and said, "You know what? I want my name next to that."
They are brave
right
people.
there. Maybe
brave people.
actually they might be coming back with just never mention us. That's like, here's $100. Don't talk about
Pay
us
us not
again.
to mention. Please don't say anything about us. I loved it. I was watching the first one, and there was an interlude where it said, "You'd said, sponsor us, or we'll say bad things about you next week." I fell off my chair. That's the vibe. That's the vibe right there.
That is it.
Totally.
That's what we bring.
Yeah.
It's funny because as professional as the things that we're talking about are, they can be really dry. So we try to make it a little bit entertaining, right?
Yeah, and you've got to laugh your way through all of this. You have to.
Yes. Yeah. There has to be something entertaining. If it isn't entertaining, I guess we're not doing our job right.
Amen.
Maybe you could, CNN's available. Bloomberg. All right. So let's get into the news.
Yeah, for sure.
Where do you want to start? You want to start with the action. It's time for some action. We got an AI action plan for the US.
Wow. I mean, that was what I can only describe as a doctrine of domination. It wasn't a roadmap. It was declared as a roadmap, but wow. Build fast, align hard, dominate globally was written all over it. AI as infrastructure, soft power, defense policy, like an arms race. Military was weaved throughout it, and ethics and regulations, just get rid of it. It's smothering, as it was said in the roadmap. There was interesting stuff around truth and alignment, and this was fascinating, because this was defined through a national lens. And there was a quote in it that said, AI systems must be free from, I love this, free from ideological bias and designed to pursue objective truth. Well, as you know, Vin, I'm the only person that is free from ideological bias and pursues objective truth. There's no such thing. We all know it. There's value judgments all over this, and you could see it. I can prove it because a lot of people applauded the mention of open source models and even related it to Meta. Meta must be pleased. They completely missed the point, because in the report, right at that open source part, it says they also have geostrategic value. And what we're talking about here is openness becomes a mechanism to export American values and undermine closed foreign systems. Now, I'm not making a value judgment on that, actually, but there is, and it was, to me, overt, but I think a lot of people missed that. It was fantastic. What a roadmap.
I think,
wow.
First, I want to say that I don't think America has a single set of values. And so exporting American values sort of fails at step 0 because we don't have a single, that's the whole point of the country, right? It's supposed to be a melting pot. We have a ton of ideas. We can't agree with each other on, what we should put in our coffee. We can't even agree if we should drink coffee. That's where we are as a country. And that's I think that's what most of the takes that I've seen have missed is they consider it this black and white, this binary. You are either good or you're bad. You pick the U.S. side or the wrong side, or you pick the other side or U.S. is wrong. It's not that simple. And I mean, we go back. If you look at Cold War, I mean, going back over 100 years, technology has never been black and white. Technology has always been an element of soft power. And if we want to be completely transparent about this, it's not a binary decision because there isn't a perfect answer. There's no good guy in this. There is the best aligned, the best side to support. And it's not a choice, it's a lack of options. You have the US and you have China right now. There is no third option when it comes to AI. And so you have to ask yourself, and when you look at the US and China's technology policies, China's really tough to invest in because at any moment they may say this technology or these groups threaten the status quo, and it's no longer allowed. We're going to crack down on it. In the US, we definitely have challenges when it comes to privacy, when it comes to data security, when it comes to, we'll talk about this later. You can't get away from all of these problems. So there's no perfect answer. And I don't think there's anything wrong with putting it out there and saying, this is what we're about. This is what we're trying to do. And we want you to adopt our stack. And once you make it open, you open it to criticism. And that's the one thing we're exceptional at. And I think it was Churchill that said, you can always count on America to do the right thing after they've literally tried every other option. And that's truly why we open this stuff up to the world. Because as a young nation, we make mistakes. We know it. We want you to think we're perfect, but no, we're not. And we know that, which is why we throw stuff out there like this.
Yeah, and there was emphasis on the exporting aspect
Yep.
to,
Oh, yeah.
those allies. There was also sort of subtle hints of, hey, if you don't, there could be tariffs and pressure and problems. But yeah, it was there. The whole thing was about exporting. But let's mention China, because coincidentally, the premier. Coincidentally, the premier, made a rare public rebuke, and the question that he posed was: do all provinces in the country have to develop industries in these directions? And what directions was he talking about? AI and EV dreams. This was there was a criticism from him about reckless local governments chasing popularity over planning, concern about overcapacity, hype cycles, redundant investment. It was fascinating because in 1 week you had two superpowers, two different messages on AI. America's betting the house, betting big, the cards are on the table. AI is infrastructure, industry, and influence. China was signaling caution, pushing back on runaway hype and resource waste. So, two models emerging, one accelerating to lead, the other pausing to calibrate. That was fascinating. It really was.
They're showing a dichotomy, right? They're showing we are not the US. And if you don't like the US, we have this alternative. And that's, in some ways, that's China's pitch when it comes to AI. Tired of the US, check us out. And so it's, and we're less expensive, we're open source, we'll give all this to you with, some
Yeah.
strings attached. We're just not going to talk
Yep.
about that.
Yep.
So there's, again, there's no good, perfect side. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to who you pick. But you have to choose a side at this point. And the EU seems to be doing this interesting thing where they're saying, we're just going to put regulations out there and stop. We're going to slow everything down to a crawl, and we're okay with that. We're okay with falling behind in the AI race. I don't know how you do that. There should be a
Yeah.
third pole here. The EU or the UK should be the third pole, and a different option, but they're really not providing an option. They're just coming out and saying, hey, here's a ton of regulation. We're going to protect all of these different areas, and we know it comes at the expense of progress, and we're okay with that. But I don't think they really are. I don't think they've really thought through all of the implications of just handing over this soft power.
Yeah, there's lots and lots of talk of sovereignty in tech and sovereignty in AI. I simply don't see it. I know there are national within Europe and the UK. There are ambitions. There are people saying we should have our own models. We should, and I'm sure in the future that that will transpire. But as you say, it's we're back in time in a sense. We're starting from scratch when we're behind. But I pounded the keyboard on this, as you know, because basically, the UK government, sort of gave this, permission to OpenAI to come on in, stroll into the government, signed a deal, and basically it was a deal to find use cases for its models in all the public services. Now, these are very, very complex environments, massive scale. But to me, this is the dictionary definition of a solution in search of a problem. We've spoken about this. When you start from a technology side, you end with more technology. You start with the terrain first. This is cart before the horse, and not everything needs a massive large language model. It's as simple as that. But there were no
Wait, no, no, no.
problems. Yeah, yeah,
Don't
don't
say
say that.
that.
Don't
Wait,
burst
wait,
the
wait,
balloon.
wait.
Yeah.
Great. We've lost our
But
sponsor. There it
there was,
goes.
oh no, don't say that. Don't say that. But no problem statements, no delivery obligations, no UK-based partners named. ISIS sovereignty, means backing local capability. It's not just flag wrapping around a cloud, and I did pound that one out, and it was popular, but it was just
I don't know.
a born of annoyance. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have the best branding on the planet. His Majesty's Cloud. I think you can't beat that one. Yeah, just you really
Absolutely.
need to roll that out. Sovereign AI in the UK is His Majesty's AI,
Crown
His
sign.
Majesty's Cloud.
You know it. You
And,
know it.
recolonize the planet with it. You probably shouldn't go there, but that's the challenge in enterprises too. And it's like, why should governments be immune from falling for this too?
Yeah.
As a consultant, and I'm saying this as a consultant, don't do this. Do not give me carte blanche to just find AI use cases, because guess what I'm going to find? AI use cases. You're handing me a blank check. Why would you do that? Why would you give me, as a consultant, a blank check to be able to just do whatever I want to? No accountability for outcomes, no accountability for anything. I can push off, revenue and ROI and all that until the end of my contract. So I never have to deliver anything. I just deliver these things that maybe they create value, maybe they don't. Don't do that. Don't explore use cases. Start with the business. Start with your business model, operating model. I mean, this is why I teach business model, operating model, technology model. What part of the business model and operating model do you want to move into the technology model? Start there. Don't okay, everything's the technology model all of a sudden, and we're just doing it. We're doing what? Who knows? AI. Well, why? AI. It's no, don't do that. This presentation, the 3-slide sales pitch. Slide 1, AI, billions of dollars. Slide 2, huge question mark. Slide 3, profit. And we're all rich. Thank you.
Agents everywhere.
It's like, wait.
Oh
There was
man.
a blank slide there, and it was kind of important.
Yeah. There you go.
Uh, So, getting into, speaking of some data privacy, some issues with data privacy and regulation, AppLovin. It's a serious company when it's got a name like AppLovin. They are a marketing company. They help apps in the App Store and, Google Play Store to do marketing, to serve you ads, those things that you love to see while you're in an app. And they're in some trouble. Last year, their stock went up 700%, which is kind of crazy. This year, there are short sellers who are making some accusations that you're doing some shady things with data. We don't know how you're getting all of this data that you're using for ad targeting. Why are you so effective if you don't have first-party data the way that Facebook or Instagram or any of the other social media companies do? How are you being so effective? Well, we're pretty sure that you are doing some things that violate the terms and conditions of, the App Store, Apple, Google, the platforms on social media that these companies operate on. We're pretty sure that you're violating the terms and conditions. Some accusations have said that they're targeting kids and they're tracking kids around the internet. Yeah, I mean, some of these are pretty serious. And so these short sellers, which are people who come in and instead of taking a long position, take a short position, anticipating the stock will decline significantly, they come out with these opinions. Why? Well, because obviously they want the stock to fall. They want people to read these things and go, oh my God, I don't want to invest in this company. Dump the stock in, they make money. So obviously they have a vested interest to make some of these accusations, but AppLovin didn't say, no, we're not. They said there are some falsities in there, but everything we do is industry standard for the marketing, for ad marketing. It's like, what? But that's not a no. Hold on. Yeah, I get it. Maybe that's industry standard. Maybe it shouldn't be. And again, it gets back to this construct of, AI at all costs, ads at all costs. These game makers have to monetize somehow, but maybe we shouldn't be, stalking kids and selling all of this information about people, because I don't think we understand what this record of us that's online looks like and how comprehensive this gets. And if you feed it into an AI model, it gets even more. I mean, you've talked about this a lot. You put that sort of a 360 view of a customer into an LLM, and that chatbot can get very manipulative very quickly.
Yeah, I am guilty of this. I give way too much of myself to my preferred chatbot, but we'll
Oh,
leave
you want
that
my
for
social
another
security
session.
number? No problem.
I have confessed online about this as well. But let me just pick up on something really important there, because you mentioned children. And Elon Musk tweeted that he wants to build Baby-Grok, a kid-friendly
Oh,
AI chatbot.
Baby-Grok,
Yeah, yeah.
baby
Now, what
Grok.
could
What
go
could go
wrong?
wrong? What could go
Yeah,
wrong?
exactly. But I just want to cite some research here. Kids, it's not a question of if kids are going to use AI. Kids are using AI, but more than that, they're forming relationships with it. And nobody seems to be talking about this or thinking this through. And it's hard enough for adults to be manipulated by AI, but children's minds are still forming cognitively and emotionally, morally. They're still developing their sense of self, their identity in the world. And they're interacting with a machine with no mind. Now, researchers have mapped children, well, it's actually young teenagers using character AI. That's no slur on them, by the way, but they mapped full behavioral addiction patterns. What I'm talking about is compulsive use, withdrawal, relapse, and social decline. You can't build, Elon Musk just says, oh, I'm going to do it, but you can't build child safe AI with engineers alone. This is child development technology. This needs developmental psychologists, cognitive scientists, trauma experts, child centered designers in the room from the beginning, from day one, because we have to ask ourselves questions. If AI co-authors a child's inner voice, we better ask, whose voice is it really, and what kind of human would they become if AI shapes their sense of what it means to be one? And these are questions that need to be asked urgently, very urgently. And I'm passionate about that, so you probably felt that a little bit.
Just a little there, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk, he's not known for cutting corners. What could go wrong? I mean,
Oh
obviously, he's
no.
got all the right people in this room.
Yeah, I
You
wish
know,
you could see
his
this.
rockets don't blow up, his
Yeah.
cars don't fall apart. I mean, we've never seen a Cybertruck get stuck in the mud. He's
Yeah.
never cut a corner before. I think we're fine. I think we can trust
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been in rooms where these things are designed, and the people that you're talking about, yeah, they're not there.
Yeah, I
They're
know. I
absolutely
know.
not there.
I can
And we're not
only.
age checking.
I even said at the end of the post, like I wrote about it. I'm shouting into the void. I know that, but I have to do it. I'm compelled to. Somebody's
Yeah.
got to say it. You know
And really, because as parents, most parents don't understand exactly how
exactly.
dangerous AI is
They're
for
working
their
it out.
children.
Yeah.
I mean, I've taught my daughter how to game algorithms so they show her the content that she wants it to show her, not the content it wants to addict her to. And I've talked about, cycles of addiction, but if you look at most parents, like they're not experts in AI. They don't understand, what you've talked about, cycles of addiction. And Ramona Truda has talked about, this seduction cycle and really being caught up in the ability for LLMs to manipulate people, use just really innocuous information about you to begin to manipulate you. And there are stories of VCs who have gone down the rabbit hole and needed to be committed, needed to get psychiatric help after spending a little bit too much time with an
That's
LLM that
adults.
was
That's an
just too
adult.
loving. Yeah,
Yeah,
these are adults,
yeah, not
smart
children.
people
Yeah,
with billions of dollars.
yeah.
These are, we're not talking about like, people that are not that bright. We're not talking about taking advantage of people that are mentally, impaired in some way, shape, or form or going through a crisis. These are really intelligent people who can be taken down a rabbit hole by an LLM. What do you think it can do to a kid? And so we have to be very, very cognizant. So people like you talking about this, it's so important to shout into the void because you're literally saving kids.
Feel compelled to, can't stop. Yeah,
Yeah,
have to do it.
absolutely. So guess who else is poaching talent? We talk about meta poaching talent. Guess what? Microsoft is now poaching talent from Google DeepMind. This is We have this weird marketplace right now where on one side you have these multi-million dollar compensation packages, some of them going into, 8 figures and allegedly 9 figures. I've never actually seen that. So I think that's a little bit fictitious. How shall we say this? I think there's some fiction involved in some of these compensation packages, but I know that there are 8 figure deals being offered. I'll be honest. I'm looking at some of these packages and going, wait a minute, maybe I need to. Hmm. Hmm. Do I really want to keep doing? Maybe I need to start making some phone calls, update my resume, get on LinkedIn again. Oh wait, I'm already on LinkedIn. Maybe stop sharing memes But I mean, it's starting to get tempting for almost anyone who looks at this and says, these are ridiculous packages, and the poaching is getting out of hand. We've made jokes about it, but some of those jokes are actually happening. So you have Meta poaching from literally everyone. Apple is losing people left and right because, they're struggling with their AI strategy and they've got really talented people who want to go do something interesting someplace that wants to be committed to this. So they're losing people. OpenAI is losing people. Now Google DeepMind is losing people to Microsoft. This is getting insane. It's fun to watch from the outside, but on the other side of the talent market, you have all these people just getting laid off to make the space in the salary cap for AI talent who one person is getting paid, what 10 or 20 used to get.
Sponsor our podcast, or we'll say mean things about your products next week.
This is amazing.
Yeah, let's lighten the mood. I mean, I just when you think the cycle is maturing, you're seeing all the good signs. You know what I mean? Somebody has to flood the system with nonsense and reboot it. And this is a WeWork, we don't work. Yeah, as I sort of phrased it. This is Son, the founder of SoftBank. Declaring that it's the trope, isn't it? The end of programmers. According to him, it'll take 1,000 agents to replace each employee. And this was really weird because employees have complex thought processes. It's just so bizarre. It's brilliant. He plans to deploy the first billion agents this year with trillions to come. Trillions, literally. Who coordinates this? Presumably more agents. The infrastructure, unclear. Probably agents are going to build the infrastructure.
Agents all the way down.
Exactly.
It's agents all the way to the ground.
Exactly. Hallucinations are a temporary and minor problem, according to Sun. Basically, AGI any day now. It was fantastic. And one of the reasons why I'm poking fun at this is because it's progress. Because we can see it fast, we can ridicule it, we can poke fun at it, remembering, really that this message is coming through strong and clear, I think, at the moment, that humans, synthesis, judgment, context still matter. It's not just about agents and AI. And if we can hold on to that, even while laughing and poking fun at the kind of absurdity and hype, and we spot it quickly, we might actually build something worth keeping. And to me, that's the point of the podcast as well. well. Yeah, we have a laugh and we poke fun, but you have to do that in a sense to kind of get down deep and find what's real, and that sort of that's why I highlight this stuff, because I think it's important too.
Yeah, if you don't call it out, if you don't ridicule, I mean, it deserves to be ridiculed. AGI any day. Like, what? You can't
Trillions of
even
agents. Trillions.
Masayoshi, with all due respect, define AGI. Define AGI. You're telling me this thing's going to be here any day. Define it. And that's where we are. We can't even define AGI. We're promising to deliver AGI next year or 3 years. And I love this. WeWork, because obviously SoftBank was one of the early investors in WeWork, which collapsed. I mean, famously, absolutely just fell in on itself. It was a horrible business model, which they're trying to revive. That's awesome. Yeah, what could go wrong? It's like the sequel. The first one flopped. Let's make another one. It's Sharknado. And now we have WeDon'tWork. That's just amazing. I love this. Yeah. You will no longer have a job, and you'll like it. You will be happier than ever.
Sure. Yep.
Oh, that is wonderful. Yes. We don't work. You don't need to work anymore. The agent will take care of you. And if you think about it, I mean, trillions of agents. If it's $1 a year per agent, what you're saying.
$1, you wish.
I'm just doing the math here. So these agents, trillions of agents, $1 a year per agent. You're talking about like $1 trillion. You're spending $1 trillion on it. Are you serious? I mean, believe me, we're spending $1 trillion on chips right now. Yeah. I get it. I know where this is coming from, but trillions of agents? Yeah, that's a pipe dream. We don't have the infrastructure for that. No. We don't have enough power to do that. Come on.
We don't have the protocols. We don't have the security. We don't have the know-how
security?
Yet.
Wait, no. That's not in the AI action plan.
Oh,
we don't have that. That's not in my AI action plan. I'm sorry. We're not doing that this week.
Yeah.
We'll
Ethics,
get that
regulation,
in a couple
security,
of years.
forget it. We don't need that. It just binds us. Let's go. Anyway.
Yeah. It's secure because I said so.
Oh, man. Anyway.
All right. So let's talk about earnings. Why are we talking about earnings? Who cares? This is something that most people aren't paying attention to. Earnings season are when companies every quarter, every 3 months, report, hey, this is what we did the last quarter. Every year, obviously, they report their annual earnings. Investors laser focused on what AI is doing, what it's actually delivering. And so the reason why it's important to look at earnings is because if you see your company doing well, you're probably in a really good place. That's probably good job security. It means you're executing on your AI strategy. Shareholders are rewarding your business. And so you've got a bright future in front of you. But if they're not doing so well, and there's a lot of companies right now that are not doing so well, well, that means layoffs are on the horizon. You're likely to see some churn and some turmoil. And you can get a good idea of how secure your role is, how secure your future is, how aligned is it to the future strategy of your business by just paying attention to earnings of not only your business, but competitors. And it also pushes back on the narrative that AI is all hype. Because no, it is not hype. And we're not just talking about NVIDIA anymore. NVIDIA is definitely a juggernaut. There's a ton of spending on chips. TSMC and SK Hynix reported earnings that were absolutely blowout. They are showing that the chip spending, that is not slowing down. TSMC basically makes all the, they are the minds behind and the infrastructure behind all of these really high-end chips that are being used in data centers. SK Hynix is more of a memory brand. Their revenue is blowing up, which is an early indicator that the chip spending not slowing down anytime soon. But you're also seeing companies like Google, which is that next tier. So we have the hardware that's needed and the infrastructure that's needed to run training and inference. And then the next level down are all these hyperscalers. Is the spending for companies like Google resulting in higher revenue? And you're seeing it show up in that next level. Google's ad business looks like it's AI proof. All of the people that sort of predicted the death of Google, well, guess what, guys? It's kind of time to reckon with the reality that their ad business now benefits from AI. I think there's some nuance to this story. I mean, if you're stealing from downstream, you're definitely going to have some more cash, right? And so there's There's sort of a collapse of the downstream websites because nobody's clicking through after the AI search results are served. And so you're able to serve ads, and those ads make you more money. So Google's definitely benefiting from AI in a way that might not be as good for everyone downstream. And as a result of this benefit, not just from their cloud, but to their ad business, they're going to spend another $10 billion on AI this year. Another 85 billion total. They upped it by 10 billion. They're like, this is such a sweet pot. We're throwing another 10 billion on this fire. ServiceNow, even now we're going one layer underneath. So we went from chips to hyperscalers. Now we're looking at services, software, SaaS, to the traditional SaaS that's now sort of an AI SaaS model. ServiceNow had another blowout quarter because of AI. Demand for their AI products, which is a higher price point, driving up revenue. IBM has $8 billion of AI revenue in their pipeline. So this is the services side. They're now seeing it, but not everybody's winning this race. I mean, Tesla was ahead on autonomous. They reported earnings, and oh my God, they have fallen behind. Not just in cars. It's not just, we can't sell cars because people don't like whatever they don't like about the company. Sometimes it's the CEO is problematic. But the cars also tend to fall apart, and they run people over from time to time, and it's not good. So there are multiple issues happening right now. But Tesla's also fallen behind on autonomous. They're talking about autonomous taxis, but they're, by most analyst estimates, 2 years behind their biggest competitors in this space, and their revenue is collapsing right in front of us. So it's not just winners. We're seeing companies like Tesla, companies like Intel. Intel was one of the earliest losers. Tesla is an obvious laggard. There are challenges. And there are companies that are not doing as well. So you have to look at earnings season. And that's my quick little roundup on earnings season. But you have to look at earnings season with an eye towards, what is my company doing? Is my company in a good position to survive long term? Am I aligned with what the CEO is talking about as the future direction of the business? And if you're not, it's time to think about doing other things.
Yeah, I know that you worry about boring people with earnings season talk, but it's absolutely vital. I'm an avid fan of your Substack. This is the stuff you need to write about because this is the meat, this is the truth. This is the show me the money part. This actually shows us who's winning and who is not winning, and it is absolutely vital. And it shows us the truth of AI as well. Is it delivering? Is it not delivering? It can, and with Google, it looks like it's delivering in it to me an unexpected
Yep.
way. But yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, the reality of earnings season is this gives you a really good indicator
Yeah,
of whether or not you're in a good place.
yeah,
So I advise everybody keep track of your business's quarterly earnings. Make sure that you're aligned with the future. I cannot say that any more clearly. If you want job security, align with what your CEO is talking about, and you will have so much better career.
yep.
All
Well said.
right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was the news. That was everything you need to know, sort of, and around the world in a very short amount of
Yep.
time. So let's get into the main beefiness of, this is a good transition into if I'm future proofing my career,
Yeah.
what capabilities are future proof? And you wrote an amazing LinkedIn post about this that
I
got
have.
a lot of a
Let,
lot of
yeah,
attention.
let me make a confession. Sometimes you write a post and you know it's going to be a banger. You just do. You've been at it long enough. This one, no, not at all. I wrote it from almost a personal perspective as well. And the essence of it was simply in the AI era, in the age of AI, knowledge is not the differentiator anymore because knowledge is abundant. It used to be scarce and you had to really research it, but it's there at your fingertips now for everybody. So what's left? And I wrote about synthesis. AI can retrieve facts, summarize books, it can remix ideas at lightning speed, but it can't weigh trade offs, it can't navigate ambiguity, it doesn't pause and ask, what are we missing? That's very human because while AI is speeding everything up, it's still not helping us decide what matters. And that's the part that still requires human judgment. And I wrote about that. The human value is shifting, not in what you know, but in how you integrate what you know. The real edge will belong to people who can move across domains, connect ideas, see the blind spots. The whole system rather than the sort of siloed part, the deep part. It's not about I'm not talking about a surface skimmer, or even a hyper specialist. And I'm not saying that they're useless. Of course they're not. But this is more about the specialist generalist, as I would call it, deep enough to master something, wide enough to connect it meaningfully to everything else. And I wrote about that synthesis, isn't a soft skill. It's really hard, and it's where depth meets discernment. And we could even talk about information becoming insight, where knowledge becomes wisdom. And I've spoken about these things in the past about wisdom. There can be an abundance of knowledge and a very acute lack of wisdom, because that's very human. And in the world that's speeding up, it's the synthesis that slows us down just enough to ask the most important question. Maybe, are we solving the right problem, for example? And I put that maybe this is wishful thinking. And it was fascinating, and really fascinating, because a lot of outreach and a lot of comments about neurodiversity, and from neurodivergent people as well. And I know some of the best people at this, from personal experience, with them, are neurodivergent in some way, but they're deeply unvalued currently, in the sort of traditional bureaucratic way. Stay in your lane, not a good culture fit, sort of like, always questioning everything, just stop it. Where actually in the future, they will have the most valuable skills for us to surface. They've been traditionally ignored and sidelined, and I wrote about it, and I was absolutely shocked. I mean, it's thousands of reactions, just hundreds of comments, so many DMs, and I did not expect it. And I did say, I wrote this partly as wishful thinking, maybe, because I kind of tend to think this way. And you want to be valued, everybody does, but I did not expect that response. And yeah, there are skills and abilities that I'm talking about today. AI today. I'm not going to talk about what AI could become, but at the end of the day, it's simulating everything, and there is a capacity in humans that cannot yet be reached by AI. I was amazed, really surprised.
Yeah, it was a great post. And I think one of the big things that I took away from it was this whole construct of memorization, which is what you're trained is important. I mean, if you look at Jeopardy, the reason why that game show is such a popular international hit is because you've got all of these people that are sort of, they're able to just memorize this massive amount of facts. And IBM Watson, back in I think it was 2012, went on to Jeopardy and just smoked everyone, because that's what AI is good at, and it's been good at that for over a decade, regurgitating, retrieving, and it does it faster than people do. So memorization, that construct that, remembering when the Spanish Armada, memorizing the date of the Spanish Armada is somehow correlated with you being intelligent. Well, not anymore. The high value is exactly what you called out, which is synthesis. It's the ability to learn, apply, and improve. Those are the highest value capabilities. It's not just learning to memorize, it's learning so that you can do something high value in the real world with that knowledge. Aside from playing Jeopardy. Like, yeah, it's cool. You can win a lot of money on Jeopardy. That's awesome. But you have to have something tangible that comes out of learning, which is that application. And the synthesis is really then making it your own and continuously improving, making everything better, adding to this body of knowledge. Those synthesis skills are so critical, and companies don't hire for them. If you look at all of the
No,
hiring
that's right.
processes, I
Yeah.
mean, do you think any of these hiring processes that you've been
No,
through or that you've seen?
they are the antithesis of the sort of traditional job spec.
Yeah.
This is the problem, and yet they're the most valuable. It's
Yeah,
Bizarre.
you can't test them easily. There's no black and white test, right and wrong test to look at synthesis, to look at the ability to learn rapidly. And so we would have to reinvent hiring. And this is something I've been banging on for a very long time. We need to change the way we hire because the skills that are most valuable to businesses, those capabilities, we don't teach them, and they're very hard to measure. And that's why we don't teach them. It's easy to test for memorization. It's very hard to test for synthesis and application. That's why apprenticeships did so well. It's synthesis. Can you do the job in the real world? Yes or no? I don't care if you memorized, pipe sizes. No one cares. No one cares if that's been memorized. All they care about is, can you do the job in the real world? And we don't teach that. I had to rebuild my courses. Back in 2016 and 2017, when I started teaching, I had to rebuild my curriculum because I realized if you memorize stuff about things like strategy, product management, leadership, it doesn't help you do the job. The only credibility I have, because I'm not, Harvard, is that you come out of this program and you're able to do the job and you can deliver value. That value is obvious and you're going to get paid for it. Like if I can't do that for students, and so when you start going outcomes based instead of sort of this perception based, you have to change your curriculum entirely. And it's not easy to teach synthesis. It's not easy to teach that apply and improve as part of your course.
If you like that insight, there's more in Vin's courses. Check them out at datascience.vin and take 10% off with the coupon code podcast.
These are much higher values. I love your post. It's absolutely spot on. That's
Yeah,
the
thank
future.
you. Yeah, and what you're talking about there is, being able to navigate ambiguity and
Yeah.
complexity. These are very difficult domains that require something. Unfortunately, it brings up the whole question of education, doesn't it? This sort of jug and mug approach is still, it's kind of it feels like it's from like everything else from the Industrial Revolution. It's not fit for the world that really we're about to enter. This whole sort of structure needs to be reevaluated. And you did a marvelous post on education. I won't get into that, but people turn into AI, and you can understand why, because they can ask the questions. That it's judgment free. It's always
Yeah.
available, and it just gives more and more information. You can ask the silly questions, and it won't judge you or sigh. And uh, that means that we have to make, and this is happening more and more. People are turning to this for their own education because it's more interesting. We have to find ways then to make human education more attractive, because we need humans
Yes.
shaped by humans, which really talks to your apprenticeship. It really was the transfer of wisdom. It was more than just, place this here and do that. It was the transfer of wisdom, and we're seeing a lot of I'm seeing a lot of posts on ageism at the moment. Where they don't want
Yep.
to employ people in their 50s, and you think to yourself, "Gosh, it's taken me this long to become slightly wise." But unfortunately, it's still not recognised. And what do you put on your CV? I'm getting wise. What? It doesn't. Yeah, here's my certificate of
Wise
wisdom.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
wise
you know what
guy.
I mean. You just can't convey it, can you? And unfortunately, if you're talking to somebody that doesn't have it, they can't perceive it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll leave that one there.
All right, so we have to talk about Bill McDermott. He did, oh my goodness.
Here we go.
He did a thing.
Here we go.
Let's listen in. He said some things. Let's just put it that way.
We're slowing down the hiring in jobs that are, quite frankly, soul-crushing jobs. I mean, just think about like
can't
IT
Soul.
support. 97% of standard software
Okay, yeah, that's horrible. I
automatically
hated
generated by
support.
AI now. And the pressure on supporting function and people has been cut in half. Customer support,
Pressure. You mean
80% of the
jobs.
customer inquiries and cases now are fully managed by agentic AI. And think about security and risk management in real time. All the patchwork and the change management is done by agents now. And the same
What
is
could
true
go
of
wrong?
go-to-market. Think about people that talk
What
to
could go wrong?
customers. There's no prep work anymore. Their AI teammate is doing that for them at ServiceNow. So the speed of the company has accelerated dramatically. The supporting cast of the soul-crushing work is now being done by agents. They work hard 24/7. You don't have to pay them. And they don't eat any lunch. And they don't have any health care benefits. So they're very affordable. And that really complements our workforce. So we're still hiring, but we're hiring less in those supporting functions. And I suppose that's going to happen to all well-run companies.
He said it out loud. They don't eat lunch. We're looking for employees that don't eat lunch.
Yeah. This was absolutely incredible, wasn't it? You know, we're slowing down the hiring in jobs that are quite frankly soul crushing, and you sort of think to yourself, translation, we automated your job and called it self care, like we're doing you a favor. And it's the trope again of GDP of the world will go up. We'll all become, I don't know what. Except 50% won't have jobs. So I don't know how all this works. Yeah.
On one side, I definitely, that was wild.
Yeah.
It was dark. I mean, the no health care. Oh my God.
Yeah. It sounded like he was describing
they don't need
Victorian children chimney sweepers. You know, they don't eat lunch. They don't take. Oh dear. Yeah.
Why would we want to take care of our people? We want people that don't need to be taken care of. It's like, these workers are so demanding. They want healthcare and lunch. My God.
Yeah, no unions,
and
no salaries,
to be paid.
no sandwiches. Yeah.
And to be paid. I mean, on one side, obviously we're making fun of the implication, which is kind of dark. But at the other side, this is how CEOs are thinking. He is being honest about where the psyche of most CEOs is. And we need to hear this more because this is the reality. Yeah. I tell software engineers, here's what's happening. Here's why it's happening to your job. And here's what you need to do about it. And I'll tell you, about 75% won't do anything. They will wait until they are laid off and can't find another job until they change. And so I get his frustration. He's saying, look, we need new capabilities throughout the organization, throughout the enterprise. We need you to be upskilling into these new roles. And so at least he's being transparent. At least he's talking about these changes that are coming, because a lot of CEOs are just like, oh no, you'll be good. But in reality, they're laying off entire organizations. Like HR is just disappearing. Yeah. There's, IBM did it first, but almost every other company filed in afterwards. And it's because CEOs, I'm sort of putting on my evil CEO hat for a second and monologuing a little bit, but we're all kind of frustrated with things like HR because I just want to hire somebody. That's all I want to do. Why are you making this so hard? And most of the time, I know exactly who I want to hire. I've talked and worked with these people before. I just want to reach out to this person and offer them a job. And they're telling me, no, you have to do all of these 8 other things because maybe this one thing will go. It's like, I don't want you in my business because you make it harder to do business. And that is the fundamental frustration that CEOs have. Accounting's the same way. I had an accountant sort of come in and do an audit on the business. And they said, oh, you're paying people too fast. And I was like, what? Dude, what? What are you talking about? Paying people too fast? Yeah. Like, yeah, you pay invoices within 2 weeks. You should be doing net 60. Put it into your contracts. Make them wait 2 months before. It's like,
make them
no. What? Why would you do that? Like, you owe the money anyway. Who cares? But it's, you get to push it out and to defer it. And you get to do these little tax things. It's like, but these are people who need to get paid. Like, and we hate this stuff as CEOs. We want these people gone because they're overhead and they add layers that we don't feel are meaneful. So, I mean, I'm gonna stop now.
That was like, you're not allowed to edit that out, right? Okay, you're forbidden. Let's get out, because we need CEOs like this, like Elon Musk. Who will actually just come out and say the quiet part out loud. We need it. Yep. Because we, deep down, we know what's going on, with the hope for them is to actually get rid of people. It's this sort of capitalist dream in a sense, sort of like get rid of the middle layer, automate the bottom layer, job done. And this is the reality of how they're thinking, and it's a capitalist dream. I would like to say one thing. He actually said we need to obliterate 20th century org charts. Honestly, I actually agree with that. The way most companies are structured, and we've spoken extensively about this together, are siloed teams handing off work like a game of bureaucratic hot potato, and it doesn't fit the way AI-enabled organizations need to operate. We do need a redesign, and more think team topologies, not Taylorism. Autonomous empowered human teams first, with clear boundaries, fast feedback loops, organized for value flow, and then augmented with agents. Imagine the power of that. Imagine if they were thinking like that. But what he's describing, is something different. It's when everybody's employed, but he's building new dreams on ServiceNow platforms, and he's excited. I don't know who can afford ServiceNow when nobody's working, but there you go. Yeah, that's my rant.
No, and you're totally right. The org chart needs to change. We're
Yeah,
still thinking in legacy terms, legacy business models. We need transformation, and we
yeah,
need companies more focused on that. Flatter is the future. Role consolidation is the future. I mean, if you're in software engineering and you don't understand product strategy, if you don't understand how to monetize, if you don't know how to do the requirements gathering and the stakeholder management, that's your job, because coding is less and less of your job going forward. So delivering an outcome is your job. And so we have to look at this, and yeah, as uncomfortable as it is to hear all of this, it's critical that we do, because this is business survival, but this is also career survival.
yeah, yeah. We just got to say it, because people are going to have to morph.
Yes.
And it's not going to last as it is. So it's painful, but somebody's got to say it. Somebody's just got to come
Yeah.
out and say it. You know.
Right. Let's wrap up with defending
Oh no.
the indefensible.
Oh, here
I'm
we
going to
go
let you go first, because I mean,
again.
you always kind of crush it. And so if I go afterwards, you set the bar high, I can kind of limbo underneath and ride on your coattails a
Oh
little
no,
bit.
I can only disappoint now.
Oh, no, there's no way. No, no. After last week, no. That was
Okay.
poetry. That
Oh
was
man,
amazing. We got more
make it
comments
easy
on
for me
this
then.
one
Make it.
section than we got on anything else. So I mean, that tells you how good it was. All right, here we go. Defending influencer hype. So I'm going to give you a line. You're going to give me a line, and you're me going to also have to defend this line that's truly indefensible. AI influencer hype line. Here's yours. On your mark, get set. So I want you to be an influencer defending their prior statements about Google being cooked, Google being done, Perplexity's going to destroy Google
Oh
because it's destroying their ad search business
yeah,
model, in light of the recent earnings that
yeah.
just came out with Google sort of crushing things. And 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh man, you've caught one here, because I nearly a couple of years ago I was thinking of posting like this, but okay. Look, was Google when I wrote, was Google cooked by Perplexity? Yes, spiritually. I stand by my deleted posts. Okay, look. When I said Google was finished, I wasn't talking about revenue. Sure, they just posted record breaking earnings, and that's adorable. It is adorable, but Perplexity didn't have to take their revenue, their customers, their users. It took their cool. It made Google look beige, slow, and that's fatal. That's really bad. In search, in fashion, in narrative, in my posts. This was never about margins. Actual cash. Google may well have made billions and billions and billions recently, but this was about mind share, taking mind share off Google revenue. That's just sort of inertia with better branding. Legacy revenue, in fact, I would go as far as say that this is legacy revenue, latency, on disruption. So no, I wasn't wrong. I was early, and as I've said to you before, early is just misplaced clarity. Okay, and so that's cool. And I just want to say that if any of this made any sense to you, even just a little bit, you're free, you're ready for my new cohort-based program. Narrative futures. We're going to be monetizing the epistemic shift. Over 6 transformational weeks, you will learn how to diagnose legacy thinking in highly profitable, successful legacy billion-dollar companies. You'll use metaphors, for go-to-market weapons and strategies, and model perception arbitrage using my intention delta framework. It's designed
Take
for
my money.
Web3.
Take my money.
Web3 survivors, because they've made a shift, bless them. Strategy generalists, recovering consultants, and it's designed to charge more for saying less. Wonderful. No code, no case studies, just vibes, apply or don't. The epistemic shift is already priced in. See the link below. Yeah.
It's amazing. I'm sold. I'm using quotes from that. Like, I'm literally right now, I'm taking notes. I want to get paid more for saying less. That's the consultant's dream.
Oh, yeah, don't we all?
I want to someday call myself a recovering consultant. I think I'm updating my LinkedIn profile as we speak. That was amazing. That was just amazing. Misplaced clarity. I wasn't wrong. My clarity was misplaced.
Exactly. Yeah. I
want
was
to use
talking
that.
about. Yeah, I was talking about.
What are you running? Like, you got to run for some sort of office. If you can whip this stuff up off the cuff, you could run the country. I mean, pick a country, you could run it.
If you'd have been at my talk at the House of Lords, it was even more elevated than that, and it went down a storm. It was very irreverent, and I think that probably shocked
next
everyone.
Prime Minister.
Yeah, there were MPs and lords there, and I just let it all go, man. I was like, oh, what have I done?
That was beautiful.
Anyway,
that was beautiful.
Okay, it's your turn.
All right, my turn. All right.
It's your turn. I want to think of something, so I'm going to go with prompt engineering is the new MBA, which is why I use ChatGPT to advise Fortune 500 companies on AI readiness. Okay, so that's a chunky one. I know. You go. You try.
Awesome. I'm going to answer this one and lose every client I have. All right, I'm stalling. 1, 2, 3, go. Well, of course I'm using ChatGPT to advise my Fortune 500 clients. Why wouldn't you? I mean, we're talking about AI first. How do you create AI first if you are not yourself AI first? Of course, ChatGPT writes all my strategy. Prompt engineering is the new MBA because it is the path to AI first. It is the journey. It is the roadmap to AI first. Of course, it's AI. I mean, I'm saying it over and over again. Haven't you figured this out yet? How are you going to get the clarity of thought from a mere mortal human without distilling it through the AI excellence lens of ChatGPT? I'm supposed to transform an organization using legacy tools like brain, wisdom, experience. Come on, those are all legacy. We are now AI first. AI is the experience. All we bring is vibes. We bring vibes, we bring aspirations, we bring our vision and our purpose. And AI creates the details and the explanation of why we do things the way that we do things. It justifies any decision we've already decided to make. And so, of course, we're data-driven. We're AI-driven. We are model-centric. Prompt engineering, the access code to this genius, to AGI, is the new MBA. And we use ChatGPT because we are AI first.
Man, do you know what? What we should do is we should get the transcript to that, right? And we should build a website, and we should build a LinkedIn. I'll tell you what, we'd make billions. I reckon right now in this part of the hype cycle, we'd make billions. Yeah, we really would.
Probably would. Yeah.
Our consultancy would explode. Who wants to tell the truth? You know what I mean? We lose out to people that are speaking like that.
Yeah. Why?
Oh, brilliant. Oh, yeah. I think CEOs are hearing some of that stuff. You know?
I literally just channeling every post I've seen from hype influencers. And just
exactly. You've just synthesized. You're not allowed to do that. You synthesize all their
Copy
posts
pasta.
into your brain.
I became ChatGPT. I generated generated
Well
the influencer. All right.
Love
Well,
it.
thank you. That's all we've got. Thank you, Stuart. As always, thank you for being the partner who's willing to tell it like it is, and the more interesting half of the podcast. I
No,
always
you're the
appreciate
meat.
having.
You're the meat. That's what they need.
That's it. No, we're happy that everyone that's still here is still here. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being
Yeah.
part of this episode 5. Please leave your comments on what you want to hear for defending the indefensible, or if there's a segment you want us to cover.
Yeah.
Bring it. We're here.
Tell us.
We do this on demand. So thank you so much. Appreciate it, and we will see you
Love
next
it.
week.
Bye, everyone.